Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright Justice for All, as we pressure Old Bag on the fact that she got this super secret information while also still wondering why the case revolves so much around that knife, when we know, thanks to Detective Gumshoe, that the victim was strangled. Still confused about that, but did realise there was actually an autopsy report to what I was trying to look for last time, in which it says just that. But we're on about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews, so let's keep on going.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless?
Ah, that's it. That's the note.
Ah! Yeah! Now you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy!
Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note?
I'm a huge fan of wands, that's why! That infamous, puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil on guard, she said to herself. On guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a little silly duck. I was doing checking what she'd written. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? I only listened more carefully, you annoying brat. I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can. That's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. It was the camera itself. Take that! Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera! Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me." Why? Why? Witness!
What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too.
Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
Hello? Oh, that's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of picture she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Kinda true. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once. Now, these photos usually are death knells for us, or, you know, they come better later, but at the start they're horrible. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai! That costume is full costume as well, isn't it?
See, I told you. That's the guy I saw.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. Right, the photo already had weirdness to it, though. Well, what does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. On-Guard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that is the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. No. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Nope. Final comments, Mr. Wright. The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? Well, for starters, it doesn't show the client. Anyway, you can't see his face, etc. Huh? So that shouldn't be a decisive evidence piece either way. Secondly, we're going to get to that, I'm sure. If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took. There's something strange with it. Will it hopefully let me do it in text, thank you? There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There is no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Why all one chances? Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot? Especially when it counts. Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? Oh, something to present to. Right. Oh, it's something to note. Well, if I'm going to note something, I'm going to note that. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? For the same reason we decided earlier on that, yeah, you could murder someone in that, because you probably could move around quite a bit because you're an action star doing battle scenes. I don't know many battle scenes that get done with obvious trip hazards, do you? That's my objection. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Mongard. What is the meaning of this? Objection! I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. His socks! You can see his socks! Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Yes. This is a trip hazard, was my objection. Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself. As if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? Falling entirely within my realm of suspicion. I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? And I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? More to the point, it looks like Edgeworth gave me a complete and utter opening to completely defend the defendant, which is stupid and weird. Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph? I would have to say, considering it's the one person going back and forth and has a link to this all. In a different fashion anyway. Adrian Andrews! If you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it is none other than this woman. Why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. On Guard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. On Guard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. On Guard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. And a costume. Why don't you just say what it is you want, Wright? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Right, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? Ach! Oh yeah, oops. If I don't get a verdict today, then Mayor... Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Wait and see or raise an objection. No, we need to do it today, because, you know, justice takes place. Now then. Objection! Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not... I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But... we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. As we survive. For now. But considering a recess usually is what leads up to the end, we gotta wrap things up in one more session, do we? To save Mayor, anyway. But the one thing I think we're struggling at is there's possible motive we can apply to Adrian Andrews, but not necessarily like actual physical evidence. Unless there's like a hair on the inside of the steel samurai, nickel samurai costume, or some stuff like that about to appear. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian. No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. she is your manager, it would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you would use at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony, during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have easily planted that blood-covered costume, or the whole blood-covered costume button in your hakama. But then it's just confusing there'd be no blood on you. But then, you know, I know it wasn't really going to be a spiritual wound if the victim was already dead and the heart wasn't beating. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she's the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Kalida. But why? I thought she was buzzed with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? Well, what are you talking about? Dude? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze. Okay, Mr. Lawyer, dude? Sure, breeze. Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impar's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impar as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impar suddenly killed herself. It sounded like she left a suicide note, and a person thought to have hidden it. It's Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. All to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impar. Yes. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Well, we never looked down on Edgeworth in any way, shape or form. He's always been an incredibly smart guy. Smarter now that he doesn't seem to be turning to forge stuff, eh? Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Kalida's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Maton Guard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter. Oh, what's that, bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one's accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the same exact scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Normal thing to do. I didn't drink any. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes, sadly, I did remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix, she is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? Huh? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? So we're ready for trial! Next time on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, as now we get to the person who we're pointing the finger at. I'll see you next time for more. Bye-bye.